Hi, and welcome to SEO University. Today's course is going to be about e-commerce, both product page ranking for e-commerce and product page ranking for affiliate pages that are trying to sell products. Google has released something called a transformer, which is a special kind of large language model artificial intelligence, like GPT-3, which I'll be using to kind of counter-distinguish and show you some real live examples in today's video. And this transformer is reading every page that Google has in their database and boosting up product pages that talk about products in the specific way they want you to, and demoting pages that don't. So I'm going to go through all that stuff you need to do today for product page ranking. It's important that you get this right, because if you don't, your product pages are not going to be able to rank very well. And if they're currently ranking well now, they are sure to go down in the future. So make sure you pay really close attention to this video in just a couple seconds. All this SEO information is also useful for services. It's only a matter of time before Google adds this transformer technology to services. I'll show you later in the video. A little bit about me and this information. My name is Josh Bashinsky. This video is being put out by SEO University. We are a testing group that tests Google's ranking factors. We reverse engineer Google's ranking factors to know exactly what the ranking factors are. There's no more guessing. We tell you exactly what the ranking factors are, and we guarantee that our factors will boost you because we test them in an isolated environment. And so we can tell, oh, this is a ranking factor, this one is not. And so you can cut out the bull crap and not pay for any tools you don't need. I can save you money on tools, and we can also tell you what ranking factors are. When you join the group, you can actually see what ranking factors are, true ranking factors. So when you join SEO University, you get access to all of our information, you get access to all the ranking factors you need, and you know which tools you can cut out. You could save hundreds of dollars. I could save you SEMrush and Ahrefs alone. You can get rid of Surfer, you can get rid of all the SEO keyword tools. We have our own ones that are $20 a month. If you want to save money on those things and you want to know what the actual ranking factors are, join SEO University and you will see all the secrets that we have there. Anyway, so just as an example of the kind of information we have in SEO University, this information for product page SEO rankings we're about to do right now. So let's get started. Okay, so this is actually one of the test results from our course. This is actually in our course. This is the actual copy of some of the suggestions that Google themselves has recommended you do. And then I will disambiguate. That is to say, I will explain how these things work and how a transformer works. I'm going to give you real examples of how a transformer works so you can wrap your brain around how Google is thinking about this and the kind of stuff that you need to say. At the end of the day, it has to do with words. You need to add in more keywords. There's more keywords than just the keywords. If you want to rank for red widgets, there's all kinds of, those are two keywords you need to say, red and widgets, and together red widgets, that'd be the exact match query, or EMQ, red widgets. That's what you're trying to rank for. But there's more keywords you need to say in 2022 SEO. There's all kind of keywords about the red widgets and how good they are, and their product descriptions, and the length, and the width, and everything. Google has extracted all that information, and the more relevant you are to the query red widgets by saying all of that extracted information about their length, their width, how good they are, how you use them, etc., stuff, exact specific stuff we're going to get into today, the more you're going to rank. Those words are like boosting, like balloons that take your page up. The more balloons you have in your page, as long as you don't go over a certain threshold, the more balloons you have in your page, the more your page is going to float up in the SERPs, and you are going to succeed in SEO. So when you join SEO University, you're going to find out all the other tactics you can do. Today, I'm going to show you the product-specific recommendations. So to err on the side of caution, we tested all this above 500 words. As much above 500 words as you can do. You might be like, Josh, well, my page is longer than 500 words. Fine. If it needs to go past 500 words, that might be okay. There is also a Goldilocks zone you want to be in, and there's a topical threshold you need to be in. We call it topicality in our group, and it is the main on-page ranking factor. So when you do testing, when you join SEO University, you're going to do testing in the group to find out what that topicality is. It takes me hours to teach it. It would be way too long to go through right now. I just want to make sure it's clear when I say that, fine, you can go over 500 words if you need to, but one, no user likes reading a page that's that long, typically, and two, you might be going over the threshold for keywords, you might be going over the threshold for topicality, you might be going off topic too much as well on that page. So it's a strange balance of keeping the page focused to all the stuff I'm going to talk about you need to do here, but also keeping it as short as possible. So it needs to be focused on, and it needs to include all the stuff I'm going to say here, but you can't start talking about your mom and your grandma and old stories about how they use the red widget. That might be great for sales, but it's not going to be good for Google. You need to be expansive yet focused. which is, I know, two contradictions. You need to try and put those contradictions together. And in SEO University, when you join SEO University, we'll show you how to do that. I'll also show you a little bit how to do that today in today's free video. So these are the Google requirements that in bold and italicized is what Google actually has said, and then my answer of testing is beneath it. This is actually for product review pages of any kind. And so here's the first one that Google has produced for us. And anytime Google, let me just take another step back. Anytime Google has to actually tell us verbatim what to do, you know they are light years ahead of the SEOs, right? When they throw us a bone like this, they are light years ahead of the SEO. There's no way you can reverse engineer or black hat. We can reverse engineer, but you can't black hat what a transformer is doing. Either you say the right words or you don't. Either you say the right keywords this transformer AI is looking for, or you don't, right? So this is how you know exactly what right words to say. The first thing that they put out here is express expert knowledge about products where appropriate. So the question is, what makes it expert? That is the very question. What makes it expert? Well, we've tested these things, and here's some ideas that you can use. Link outs to any kind of third-party review, author link outs, shows that you're an expert. And author link outs are useful only when you're linking out to a third-party review or a third-party system like Yelp or Facebook or maybe a newspaper or something along those lines that is an established entity in Google's eyes that they think has a review process that would punt out fake or spammy or authors. GMB would be the best one because it's controlled by them. So if you can link out to a GMB, if you can link out to, and we've tested this with doctors, if you link out to a GMB, it's a huge boost. We found this years ago in the Medic Update. If you can link out to third-party sources, and when you join SEO University, I'll show you actual ways of how to do this. But for those of you who want to just do it yourself, I can tell you, linking out to third-party places that prove you're an expert would be good. But here's the most important thing. Proper relevance a transformer can understand. And this is the important part. Proper relevance a transformer can understand. And so let me quickly show you how a transformer works so you know what I mean when I say this, because it's going to be the most important piece for all of the suggestions that I'm about to make, is proper relevance of how a transformer thinks and what a transformer can understand. And let me show you probably the world's most premier transformer that's publicly available. It's released by OpenAI. It's called GPT-3. So let me show you how that thinks and works, and you can get a sense of, oh, okay, this is how the product thing works and how it thinks. When you want proper relevance a transformer can understand based on the exact suggestions that they made. So this is the OpenAI's playground for their GPT-3 transformer. And basically how it works is you give it a prompt. This is a prompt here. You just tell it in text what the meaning you're looking for and the format you're looking for, and it will give you an answer. So this says, the following is a list of companies that and the categories they fall into. Apple, Facebook, FedEx. And then the category is going to be where it's going to put its answer, right? So this is what's called a prompt. And prompts usually have a token size. This is 26 tokens. Every transformer or every AI has a limit in the tokens they can process in one prompt. And you're prompting it to give you a completion, is what you're doing. So based on all of the text that it's read on the internet, and this text that's just read here that you just added as like a last kind of page on the entire corpus, it's called, of what it's been processed, it's going to give you statistically what the next semantic meaning should be. And a transformer works on statistics. So if I gave it 10,000 pages of knock-knock jokes, knock knock, who's there, so-and-so, punchline, right? Knock knock, who's there, blah, 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 who, punchline. And I give them 10,000 examples of that. They know statistically that if I write knock knock, they know statistically the words that should come after that is who's there. And that's basically how a transformer works for any kind of language pattern in a particular language. English, and then French will be different, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they can even translate English to French when they say that the verb être is the verb to be from French to English. So they know that être means to be. I am, you are, those kinds of being verbs, right, in English. They're just matching random strings of characters to other random strings of characters that they don't understand, because they infer out, and what they decode is called an encoder decoder. They either encode or decode the semantic out of the sentences of X is Y and Josh is brown and this is that and blah, blah, blah. And then they remember all the relationships that has ever been mentioned in language ever in the corpus that they process. And then they know that Josh's hair is brown. So if you ask it, what color is Josh's hair? They say brown, right? Or, dyed to be with red streaks or whatever. So that's how a transformer works. Let me show you actual examples of it working in real time. When I submit this prompt, it should be able to understand what this sentence you're asking it to do. It should look at the sample data you've given it, and it should get a category based on the corpus of what it thinks these companies fall into a particular category. Because it knows what the word category means from its extracted meaning in the usage of, a million different sentences. And so if I put the cursor here and I hit submit, it will give us the answer, the completion technology, right? And it knows that these are, to some degree, technology companies. So that's fascinating. So this is a classification a prompt. We could do the same thing, and I'll try to write one for you on the fly here. I'll try to write one for you that'll be similar to what Google is doing. So the following is a list of properties of a product web page. The page will be categorized as either good, fair, weak, or terrible. Page properties. It is fast, good information, helpful content, and then we'll say a category. Now, do you think with just that level of information, it's going to be able to, the Text DaVinci 2, which is their latest model of GPT-3, do you think that GPT-3 is going to be smart enough to know, oh, well, if the page is fast, has good information and helpful, that it will be, they'll be categorized as good? Do you think it'll be able to figure it out that fast with just 2 sentences? Do you think it'll be able to figure it out? I'll hit Control Enter and see it got it right. It said, that's good. That would be good. And if I turn down here the probabilities to most likely, and I try it again, you'll see all the various options it considered. If I don't have a trailing enter, then it'll work. You see it says good, and if I hit down on this, you say it was 92.56% sure that this is good. This is good, good. And it knows that good and fast is a synonym. Fast is also good. It knows that fast is also related to this. Do you see how easily a transformer can rate pages? Is your mind now going, oh, I see how Google could easily write a transformer to check the words you say on your page to see if you're more relevant selling that red widget? Do you give the links and specifications? Do you say how to use it? Do you say if it's good or not? Do you see how they could easily do this? Let's try it again for a bad example. You might be like, okay, Josh, well, that's just a fluke, right? What if we gave it different stuff? What if we said the page properties were slow, lack of information, good link outs, decent prices, but copied product photo from other sites. Now I've given it a little tough one, right? There's some good properties there, there's some bad properties there, right? What do you think it's going to categorize that page as? Well, let's find out. I'll make sure that I have no trailing new lines. Good. And I'll hit submit. And it says it's fair, right? Fair was in the middle, right? So it knows, it's smart. And see, it was 99% certain it's fair. It's like, okay, I didn't say the word fair anywhere in here, but it knows that good, fair, weak, and terrible are on a vector scale from best to worst. Do you see how easily the transformer can do this? What if I just say, what if I say it has bad link outs? It has only one price. What if I say this? Do you think it'll get worse? It says it's terrible. So this is analogous to exactly what Google's product transformer is doing for you. It's analyzing the properties on the page of exactly what they're going to tell you need to do and not do. and it's going to give you a classification. They have classifiers. Google has already admitted they have AIs that do classification for them. They call them classifiers. They call them by the language of transformers, of AI. And they're going to give you a classification as to some score like this, and that is going to boost you compared to everybody else, or it's going to demote you compared to everybody else. So now that you kind of understand how Google is going to score you using a transformer, now you get the idea of the proper relevance a transformer can understand. When they want to know if there's an expert on this, you literally want to say the word expert. You want to say, in my expertise, with my knowledge, and any kind of synonym for the word expert. And if you're like, well, what's the synonym for the word expert? Well, you can search that in Google. You can do that any number of ways, but you should be talking about your largesse. You should be talking about your expertise. You should say, here at redwidgets.com, we've been analyzing widgets for 20 years. We are the experts in red widgets, or whatever it is, the product you're selling. You got to say it. You need the proper semantic or the proper relevance a transformer can understand. You need to say the proper key words, the important words. That's what the word keywords means. The important words. And now the important words has been vastly extended from just saying red and widgets together to saying all different kinds of stuff. In this case, that you're an expert knowing about red widgets. And lastly, we have something called reference rank here. Again, when you're linking out to specific, you want to make sure that everyone in the world is referring to you as an expert and referring to you as an expert in various different topics, the ones that you want to rank in, of course. When you join SEO University, you're going to learn a lot more about this and how we use this to boost rankings quite tremendously. But know that there are more, I'm not just talking about links here. There are more algorithms than just links. There's at least 5 to 10 more major algorithms you can use to boost your pages before we even get to the risk of buying links. When you join SEO University, you'll find out what those are. All right, the next one is show what the product is like physically or how it is used with unique content beyond what's provided by the manufacturer. So they said show. That's a very important word. You want your own pictures of the product or service, or quite frankly, your own unboxing video or audio or other links of your own experience with the product and support your expertise. This will support your expertise and reinforce the authenticity of your review. So you make a video just like this where you're unboxing the video. Oh, look, I've got the new red widget. Ooh, look at this. It's the new contoured cylinder design. Ooh, I remember back in 2005 when they decided to think about this design, and I'm glad to see that redwidget.com has made this new design. Right? You're doing an unboxing video. You're showing how you use the product. You're showing how you use it. Notice how this is useful for the user. It shows your expertise, it shows your largesse, but also notice how it means you have to pay money for the product. It means that you are intimately, you are that much more plugged into the community, the industry you're talking about. You have largesse, you have money to be able to have the product and talk about it. Do you see how this cuts out all the fly-by-night kind of, I'm not in any way critiquing the fly-by-night affiliate sites or the fly-by-night dropshipping sites that just make pages to sell this stuff. I'm not in any way picking on these guys. I've done these kinds of websites myself. But you see how Google is kind of screwing you in that way, but in a way how it'd be better for the user if you have this product, you can take it apart, you can look at it, you can do things with it. So any which way you can get the product and you can do some kind of unboxing video with it if that's appropriate. And even if it's not, if you can generate out of, there's now AIs that can generate video from a picture, I would do that. I would have it all labeled, and I would have all the, make sure your picture is of the exact thing you're trying to rank for. If you're trying to rank for red widgets, don't have a picture of a blue dog. Google can read pictures and extract text from pictures. So just let your mind think about what Josh just said there and how saying all the key words are important. And by a process of elimination, if you're supposed to be saying keywords, that means there's words you're not supposed to be saying as well. There's words that are going to hurt you if you're saying them too much. And those are any words that are not the keywords, right? Now, that doesn't mean you can just jam the keywords in there. You need to have the grammar to connect all the words properly. But again, you don't want to start talking about blue dogs or blue widgets on your red widgets page. You don't want to be talking about purple sprockets on your red widgets page. And you don't want pictures of these different things either, including ads. That is going to hurt your rankings because everything now got keywords that Google can read with their artificial intelligences. All right. The next one is provide quantitative measurements about how a product measures up in various categories of performance. So remember what the transformer can understand. They can understand length, width, height. They understand everything about it, like a human. You're writing this, imagine you're giving this to a human who's going to read it and give you check marks based on all the stuff you're going to say. Because remember, they can classify it. They know whether you're doing a good job or a bad job in this regard. So statements about how it is X number better in areas the transformer knows people rate this product service in. So what other people talk about for sure is important. You want to mention everything that's important about this particular product. Bear in mind, of course, this means that unless you are AI generating it with a transformer who's going to produce all this content for you, which is possible, realize that this means, again, the spray and pray, make 10,000 mass pages to sell products is becoming less and less and less valuable to everyone, Google, the end user, and yourself as the people doing it. It's becoming less and less viable. Does that mean, what do you do? Well, you take your top 10 first products that sell the best, focus on them, do them upright with proper product pages like this, and you move on to the next 10. You do 10 a month if you can, or you do 5 a month, 1 a week, right, roughly, and improve that page. Actual product pictures or actual videos of unboxing it if possible. Go as far in this degree as you can as possible to get the best rating, the best classification from Google you can, and you will set yourself apart from your competitors, which will be great. So remember what a transformer can understand in terms of the quantitative measurements and have a table and list them. You might also want to ask at this point, Josh, does this mean I need to have structured data? The answer is yes and no. Yes, if your structured data is perfectly accurate and has no errors, then it will help you in some regard. Not really that much. It may be a one-spot boost on page 2. You won't see any movement on page 1 from our testing of schema. However, no, do not use schema at all if you can't get it right. If you can't make sure your schema doesn't have errors, if you see any errors in Search Console, this is not helping you, right? This is hurting you to a minimal degree. Again, it'll be worth 1 or 2 spots on page 2. Maybe it'll break a tie or lose a tie for you on page 1. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be a major booster or demoter in any way as per our testing. It's something you would do on a rainy day, but I just wouldn't add it. Google are experts at reading what's called the dark data or the unstructured data. You don't need structured data anymore. White hats live and die by structured data, thinking that's going to boost them tremendously. It's not. It's not a major rank factor. We've tested it. Don't bother adding it. It's just a step you don't need to do, and have all of that structured data in tables on your page, or in sentences or paragraphs or lists on your page. Google can read that just fine, and that will give them the information that they need. The next one is explain what sets a product apart from its competitors. Now, I would not make stuff up here. You need to explain what sets a product apart from its competitors. This will also show your expertise. And I would definitely say what makes it better relevant to what others say. That's the important thing. What do others say about this product and how it compares to other competitors' products? And you should be definitely, the main guys who rank on page 1, you need to be saying what they say and then have your own take on it. Not exactly the way they say it, of course, but the guys who are on page 1, or the Wikipedia people, the people who really know the specifications and the specs on these products, you need to be cohering with what the top people say about it, because that's how Google is going to tell what the right answer is here. For example, let me show you again how that would work. If I ask it, question, what is better, a weak page or a strong page? If I ask it suddenly this out of the blue, and I only have maximum length of 6. Otherwise, it would have given me the full answer here. Do you see how just out of the blue, it knows that a strong page is better than a weak page? This is based on the corpus of all the information it's been taught, and it knows a strong page is better than a weak page. I didn't say the word strong in here, but it knows that strong is better than good. It was a synonym for good, right? And it had misspellings for weak, but it was 100% sure it should say weak page at this point, at the end of the sentence, right? The more the sentence goes on, the more sure it knows of what words should be going there. So this is how Google is going to look at your information when it relates to what sets a product apart from its competitors. And it's going to know that Everybody says a strong page is better than a weak page. Everybody says that the 10-inch red widget is better than the 6-inch red widget. So you better have the 10-inch one. Like, it knows because people have talked about it that way, right? So that's what I'm saying. You need to say what other people say. You need to say with the group consensus. You cannot make stuff up here. You can have a contrary opinion, but only after you can have your own take, but only after you explain what everybody else thinks. So you're saying the right stuff, and the transformer will give you that good grade. Does that promote groupthink? Yes, it does. That completely promotes groupthink and completely reduces your freedom of speech, your freedom of thought, and your freedom to have a different take on a particular product or service. But that's the way Google works, right? You have to pay homage to what the corpus is going to tell the transformer, because it doesn't understand sarcasm, not very well, and it doesn't understand irony. They have 1 or 2 spots for a different take, and that's it. So if you're going to take a different take on what everyone else is saying, say it after and say it much less than the keywords you need to say to rank. Here's the next one. You want to cover comparable products to consider, or explain which products might be best for certain users or circumstances. Again, the transformer understands all of this talk if people have talked about it. So you need to check to see if people have talked about it in the corpus. Do Google searches and see what other people say about comparable products to consider and the circumstances in which you would use this product versus that product. And make sure you get the same circumstances or something very close. You could use synonyms, right? You don't have to use the exact same words, although the exact same keywords would boost you better. So do a Google search on your competitors and see what they say about comparable products to consider and which products might be best for certain uses or circumstances. And again, if you're like, but Josh, I'm an expert in red widgets. I've been doing this for 20 years. Everybody else is wrong. They say you use red widgets only in these places, but I've used red widgets here, red widgets there. I know you could use them all over the place. Am I allowed to say that? Sadly, the answer is no. I wouldn't lead with that. I've tested this. I know this for a fact. This is groupthink. Sadly, as a philosopher, I hate groupthink. I'm all about freedom of thought. But in this particular case, you can join my free philosophy course if you want to. I'll show you how I'm all about freedom of thought and not groupthink. But sadly, in this case, that's how the transformer works. All it knows is groupthink. It's not sentient yet. It does not know how to have its own opinion. It does not know how to differentiate from a real expert who really knows what they're talking about based on the underlying facts of their reasoning. It knows that to a little bit of a degree. It really is a follower. The transformer is a follower. It's not a leader, right? It's going to follow what everyone else talks about. It's going to be like, okay, when it comes to red widgets, everyone says you use them here, here, and here. You never use them here and here and here, even though you can and maybe should. Maybe it's a super hack that the expert would really know. You would say that in a did you know extended box. You might even hide that and cloak that information from Google. And so you provide it for the user to be useful to the user, but the transformer is a follower. You need to lead. You can have this information there a little bit, but you need to lead with the information that is the groupthink answer of the top groupthink people, of the experts. If there's any experts in your area, and they're the ones at the top of Google, the authors at the top of Google, the pages at the top of Google, the brands that Google knows about. Those are the people you need to copy what they say. Yeah, what they say is the good thing. You know, you're not allowed to have your own opinion unless you are one of those people, and then you will change the entire corpus, right? You can't lead with that opinion either. You need to say, most people think you use red widgets here, here, and here. And you can use red widgets here. They work really well here, here. However, did you know you can also use red widgets here, here, and here? You know, as an expert of 20 years, you should be saying that a lot. As an expert of 20 years, you know, I've used red widgets in these different places, and you can use them there, even though most people want to use them, blah, 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 blah. So remember, a transformer is groupthink. A transformer is a follower. You need to convince this bureaucratic person that your page is saying the expert approved stuff. I have tested this specifically. I know this for a fact. You need to go with the groupthink. And then, if you have a different take, add it afterwards and don't lean on your different take. You might even want to put it in a did you know box that only pops up when someone mouse scrolls or something like that. So Google probably doesn't see that information and it's cloaked from Google. All right, here is one that we have tested specifically. You want to discuss the benefits and drawbacks of a particular product based on research into it. They almost literally said the pros and cons, the benefits and drawbacks. So You can see how very easily how a transformer is smart enough. If it knows that the words after knock knock is who's there, they know they're looking for the word pros and cons or benefits and drawbacks on your page. And this would be very useful to have a pros and cons table or a benefits and drawbacks table to explain the benefits and drawbacks to help your user make a buying decision for your product. The good thing is that this should just help sales, quite frankly. This would help people make sales on your page and help people socially share your page and link back to your page in a white hat organic way to the limited degree that actually happens. But this will actually help you get that, right? So you want the field result. You want to have the pros and cons list. You want to use this because we've tested it in the field and we know that this boosts for a fact. Furthermore, the next one is describe how a product has evolved from previous models or releases to provide improvements, address issues, or otherwise help users in making a purchase decision. Again, this is self-explanatory. Remember, a transformer can pick out this text of history of the product service, and it'll be whatever the experts say is the history of the product or service. The next one is a really good one. And this is identify key decision-making factors for the product's category and how the product performs in those areas. For example, look at this example. A car review might determine that fuel economy, safety, and handling are key decision-making factors and rate performance in those areas. A transformer would be golden at classifying what is the most important buying decision-making factors for this product. It'll tell you, right? It'll tell you right off the bat what the most important decision-making factors for a product category is. Let me show you GPT-3 doing it in real time. So if I go here, I have a whole bunch of prompts I use on a regular basis. Okay. So what are the key decision-making factors when buying a car? Does it know out of the box what those are? The answers are yes. It knows it like that. Boom, it just gives it to you. It says the key decision-making factors when buying a car are the price of the vehicle, including taxes and fees. A very good point. Very helpful to remember taxes and fees. A lot of people don't remember this when they go to buy something, right? Especially something with that high ticket of a value. Fuel efficiency, which is miles per gallon, and how far it can go on one tank of gas. And safety features, such as airbags, anti-lock brakes, to help prevent accidents from happening in the first place. Do you see how it knew this out of the box, how a transformer knows this? Because it's read all the information in the corpus. It knows everything about everything in the pages it was given to read. And the interesting thing is, you could see, these are the other ideas it decided to talk about. It was 14% sure it would talk about price. It could have used the word cost, how to do something, budget, safety, etc. And if I want to know what it was going to say there, it was going to say how something, I could just feed it the word how. How what, transformer? And it was going to say how much money you have. So it was going to talk about, then it decided it was going to talk about money. Money was the most important factor for it. So a transformer already knows what the key decision-making factors are. Do you? That's the point. It's trying to test to see if you know what the key decision-making factors are. Because if you don't, they want to send traffic to people who do know what the key decision-making factors are. So you better learn what the key decision-making factors are, and you better list them in your page in text that Google can easily spider and read. So think about what the key decision-making factors are for your particular product. And quite frankly, I would do this for services too. It's only a matter of time before Google starts doing a service transformer for services. I would do this for services as well. I would add the key decision-making factors for ordering that service or for ordering that product. And you should know this, and this would just, again, be part and parcel of showing your expertise. So I would determine the key decision-making factors as based on the experts. Again, as based on the experts in your niche. Search Google, see who is at the top and what they say. And rate the performance of your service or product on those exact factors. I was making an SEO tool to do this in GPT-3. I just showed you in GPT-3 how to do it. Get an account in GPT-3 and just ask GPT-3 questions in the Q&A and it'll work for you. Describe key choices in how a product has been designed and their effect on the users beyond what the manufacturer says. So again, you want to know what everyone else is saying, how it's innovative about this product. Rehash that a bit with maybe a touch of your own opinion at the end. And those are the key choices, again, that the transformer would have been processed in the corpus. and how they can extract what the experts say in that corpus, not just what everyone says. The groupthink of everyone is helpful to a degree, but what's more important for the helpful content update and for the product update in particular is what the experts say of this particular product or that particular product. That's how they separate the scientific fact or the consensus, the expert fact, from the opinions of, say, the discussion forums and groups that they have a separate ranking system for. And last but not least, a huge one that would be a bit of a pain in the butt for affiliates and would be almost impossible for e-commerce, but include links to multiple sellers to give the reader the option to purchase from their merchant of choice. This alone will just be a boosting ranking factor. Including links to multiple sellers to give the reader the option to purchase from their merchant of choice. This is good for the user. It will probably increase your sales overall. You might get less commissions from the worser ones, but you can always promote the biggest one at the top that you want. And so you'll usually guide the users to buying the one that you want them to buy. But you can see how a transformer can easily scan the page and easily see if you've provided this. And it will give you a rating of good to terrible. All right, folks, this has been our e-commerce product page SEO. Do these things. You can do these things, and you will do these things and add them to your page. And when you add these things to your page, you are going to see boosts. You are going to stop the fluctuation of your rankings. You're going to see a more consistent ranking, maybe even hopefully a slightly higher ranking. Doing these things should give you a few spot boosts on anywhere on page 2 and 3, and will easily break ties on page 1. Join SEO University to find out everything else you need to do, and we can guarantee you that #1 ranking spot. So thanks for paying attention, and we'll see you in the next video. And good luck in the SERPs, and we'll see you in the group.